Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Judy's
This special meeting is called to order.
You go, Nancy. Hi.
Really pleased to see all of you here today, and especially pleased to see one member of the audience, which I think is making history for this village, and that's my wife. It's the first time she's here ever, so either this is something very special or I'm in trouble. So I guess we'll find out soon enough. But before we start, I just want to take this opportunity, because we never have this many residents and other members, and we also have members of the Oyster Bay Police Force here, to introduce the Board of Trustees of Laurel Hollow. So sitting to my left here is Jeff Nemshin. Jeff is an entrepreneur involved in commercial real estate, and Jeff looks after the filing to the ORPS every year for our school taxes, which is a very, very involved process, and we are all grateful to Jeff's efforts for almost 10 years, and it takes a lot of effort to make sure that we get the fair share of school taxes, because as you know, many of you, we share the school district with Huntington. So that's Jeff Nemshin. Jeff Miretello, sitting next to him. Jeff is also a successful entrepreneur, and he also acts as our harbor master. So it's his job to keep the boats and the boaters in line, which is not an easy task, but he accomplishes that brilliantly. Plus, further to add to his credentials, if you ever want to know anything about clams or oysters, he's the man to go to. Just don't ask him about trees, okay? That's an internal joke. Rich Nicklas brings us a lot of experience from the financial industry. And Rich looks after all our insurance matters, and he's also, we fondly call him our editor-in-chief. So any communication that goes out to the residents, it has to go through Rich to make sure that everything is proper. And he's also, by the way, we also fondly call him our official timekeeper. If anybody is running over time, Rich throws something at them. Rich, I'm doing okay so far, right? Okay, good, good.
And your wife's here.
Yes. Howard Avertine, our village attorney. Howard, again, one of the finest municipal attorneys in the area, and quite reasonable, by the way. We won't tell him too much about it. Deputy Mayor Dan DeVita. Dan is a former federal prosecutor and specializes in labor law. Recently, it was under his chairmanship of the committee where we accomplished adopting the handbook for the village, which outlines all our personnel policies, and this was quite an achievement. Next to him, Nick Tsafos, who is our newest member of the board. Nick is a CPA with Eisner Amper, one of the leading accounting firms in the country, and he's one of the partners in the firm, and he was appointed after John Firvan resigned a few months ago, so we are glad to have Nick on the board. Then we have Nick Bartilucci, one of the finest engineers in Long Island, and a legend when it comes to public engineering work and environmental work. Very, very lucky to have him on the board, because with his kind of expertise that he offers to our board, it's really very, very useful to have his insight, and he's very hands-on and looks after our roads and our highway department. He serves as the commissioner of our highway department. And last but not least, Karen Navin, our village clerk. And Karen is one of the finest village clerks, and really does a wonderful job for us. Myself, Harry Anand, I'm the mayor, and my main objective is to make sure all these guys are pleased and I live up to their expectations. This is a tough board. But I must tell you one thing, guys. You know, I don't know, many times we don't appreciate it, but this talent sitting here on this table, we are so fortunate to have such a unique group of people, such a cohesive group of people who give tremendous hours to make this village function beautifully and make it one of the most premier villages on Long Island. So once again, welcome. Thank you for coming. I didn't screw up anybody's introduction. If I did, I'm sure I'm going to hear about it. But we're going to dig right into a very brief PowerPoint presentation on the main subject that we are here for. And that's about our police contract. So we'll get into it. And it's a brief presentation. It's only about 7, 8 slides. And there'll be plenty of opportunity for asking questions later on. So please bear with us while I go through this. So first we're going to go through a little bit about the history of police services in Laurel Hollow. Until 1998, we had our own police department, as many of you know. In 1997, due to a dramatic increase in costs and some of the staffing problems that we were having, the Board of Trustees decided at that point to look at other options. Mr. Martin O'Connor, at that time, he was a former Nassau County Deputy Police Commissioner, was retained by the village to study its requirements and offer alternative solutions. The study prepared by Mr. O'Connor concluded that there would be a significant cost savings by disbanding Laurel Hollow Police Department and contracting with Nassau County. One of the main concerns of the residents at that time was to maintain a dedicated police force, dedicated police patrol car in the village at all times. This was negotiated in the contract with Nassau County. In 1998, a referendum was held and passed to disband Laurel Hollow Police Department and enter into a contract with Nassau County for police services. We are currently being served by Nassau County Police Department with a dedicated patrol car number 223, which is backed up by 2nd Precinct. After disbanding our police department, we did get a significant drop in costs while maintaining a good quality of patrol services from Nassau County. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the costs, and I'm going to share with you some historical data on that. So in 1997, which was the last full year when we had our own police department, our police cost was a little over $1.2 million. In 1998, when the referendum was passed and we disbanded our police department and signed up with Nassau County, our total police cost was $1.45 million, but that did include about 200+ thousand of expenses which were accounted for disbanding our police department. So one can say that that cost was, you know, the real cost was maybe around $1.25 million. In 1999, when we signed up with Nassau County, our cost significantly dropped to $870,000. And then there was a bit of a jump the next year in 2000. And then for a few years after that, it kind of stayed around that $1 million number. And then the next big jump we saw was in 2003, which is 2003, 2004, when Nassau County started to reassess the properties. And this reassessment basically resulted in a lot of homes on the North Shore. Their assessed values went up, and the other parts of the county, the assessed value went down. So as a result of it, our costs started to escalate. So we were at 1.24 in 2003, and 2004 we were at 1.33. And then it kind of tapered off again to that number, somewhere around 1.35 to 1.4, and it'll go up a little bit, it'll go down a little bit, a lot of it depending upon how the assessed values changed and the overall budget of Nassau County. Then in 2009, it was 1.5 million, and then in 2010, again, you know, somewhere between that 1.4, 1.5 is where it stayed for those 4 years.